Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Veronica and today we are having a build, and as you might see it's in the Newcrest, and that is actually me continuing my Newcrest project because I was kind of neglecting that for a couple of weeks now, actually for almost a month, because the last build I did for this project was that spy cafe which I have built several weeks ago, and now we are building another apartment complex. And actually after that, we have only two more builds to make, which are two parks. So that shouldn't be too hard, I hope, because I've built parks, it turned out okay. And with my tendency to over-landscaping things, it kind of goes well with the parks because, parks are mostly like landscaping and stuff. So I think that with the parks, I will not have that much problem that I did have with this apartment complex you're seeing coming up over here in front of your eyes. So, with this apartment complex, I was kind of inspired with some modernish Japanese-like looking apartment buildings, which I found on Pinterest, and I kind of tried to combine the two ideas into one apartment complex. But as it was Pinterest, I've only seen just the front parts of the apartment complexes in there, so I did not know what should I do for the back. So as for the back, we have kind of like a simple shape, and that's just like balconies, the centerpiece, and the parking lot, and that's gonna be it. And as for the main shape itself, I wanted to make it kind of symmetrical, but of course it turned out to be constructionally completely symmetrical, almost just some column swapping, and the differences were only considering the whole exterior. And I think that it turned out nice, but it's yet again, as it is a complex, it's like not a separate building, it's not just like house. This brought us to a problem of having some glitch issues here again. So I should probably warn you right away from the very beginning that we have some glitch issues in this build. And they are because we have way too much furniture in there. And as for this building, it is already on my gallery, and up there I have uploaded this build like two times. One of them is with all of the community parts completely furnished, like we are gonna have here some community space, of course, because I think that in The Sims it's kind of important, because usually when you're playing with the apartments in The Sims, you kind of want to see your neighbors because that's like easier way to communicate with them. And for simmers who play like me, who just do not like communicating in The Sims all that much because it's kind of glitchy and you cannot control other Sims if they are not in your household and you do not want at everybody in your household, sometimes you kind of can neglect some of the communication need for your Sims. So with apartments, it kind of goes away, but the glitch issue is not a nice one to have either. So that is why this build is in two versions on my gallery. One of them is absolutely furnished with all the apartments completely furnished and decorated and stuff. And the other one with just the floor plans, but without like the completely decorated nice furnishing in them. So you will see at one point I'm gonna tell you like here is the one version on the gallery, and in the end of course is another one, and I'm going to give you a tour about the second one in the very end. And by the way, as it is an apartment complex, brace yourself because you might have already noticed that this video is kinda on the longer side, and yep, I'm gonna talk a lot in here. So I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but I'm gonna find what I'm gonna talk about. So this apartment complex in the very end is going to have six apartments, two on each floor. All of them are just one bedroom and one bathroom. None of them are bigger. Of course, you can kind of like join two apartments and make one big of them, but I did not want to. I did not find a point for myself to do that, so I decided that I'm going to make it like one bedroom, one bath, each apartment. And actually, most of them you might quite easily use as starting apartments because some of them are like not one bedroom, one bathroom. Some of them are just studio apartments, so we not have bedroom area divided, separated bedroom area. Actually, in three of them. So in here we actually have three studio apartments and three one bed, one bath. So that should be a nice area for starter living. Of course, it's not a cheap area for starter living because as for this apartment complex, I was kind of imagining it to be nice, and you will see that in here we are gonna have actually a pool and an art studio upstairs, and also in there we are gonna have like a musical area, some chess area, community kitchen, a rooftop garden, and also a gym. Yep, I decided to place literally everything down in this apartment complex. I know, I do it a lot. So I sometimes just prefer doing everything all at once, and this is the case. So in here we are gonna have quite a lot of stuff, you will see. And maybe I'm sorry if you have weaker PC, but if you have weaker PC, I doubt that you will be able to play in this building even without any furnishing, or maybe we just one apartment furnished, because community areas made this apartment complex kind of glitchy already all by itself. So I'm sorry, but that's what we've got out here. But anyway, up in this apartment complex, every single apartment, except for the two on the first floor, are gonna have two balconies. So one of them is a small balcony with a view on the parking lot and also on the playground, which is out here in the Newcrest area. And the other one is like a wraparound balcony of sort of like a porch, but without a stair leading anywhere. So that's like a patio. I don't know, a balcony. I'm gonna call it a balcony, but as for that balcony, at first I actually wanted to make it bigger so that I could fit maybe a tub out there. But later, when I was doing the whole apartment complex, I have decided that, it looks silly when we don't have a building like that huge and when we have these huge balconies out here. And this building is not huge. Like you see, it doesn't occupy even half of the lot. So we will have like some changes with these bigger balconies. I'm gonna expand the whole apartment building a little bit. Actually, I already did that. You might have seen that. And with that, I will have, of course, some limitations with furnishing that later, and I will probably show it to you, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to talk. Maybe not too long, so we'll see. And as for the exterior, you see that I was kind of looking around. Sometimes, probably, you will see that, of course, but I was kind of going around sometimes checking on how the buildings next to us look and what I was using for the landscaping decor out there. And I was kind of taking inspirations from the builds I've already made. And that is like an easy trick for me to do because, it can be difficult to build like from scratch, but in here I was kind of taking ideas from some buildings that I already have in the area, which I have made before. So that was a little bit easier for me. So I decided to make the parking lot in this apartment complex exactly the same as I have in the gym in the neighborhood, like literally across the street. And I also decided to use the same colors of the building itself, the same brick as we have on an apartment complex literally across the street too. So I was not so creative with that, but think that I might have been a little bit more creative than usual with the shape. And I think a little bit later you will see that I was trying to be creative with some architectural lighting too. Maybe that's gonna look silly. Maybe that's gonna be like a lot. Maybe that's not as seamless as I would like that to be. But I'm sorry. It seems not everything works the way I really do want it to work. So that's why it will not. In some cases, like well, I was using a lot of the LED lights everywhere around the building on the exterior so that I can like almost underline all of these like differences in heights of the building itself so that we show that we have different levels in the area so that we have all of these different vent outs and stuff. But in the corners, especially in the outer corners, it doesn't look so good. And I was trying to cover that. I've spent plenty of time trying to do that, but that did not work as well as I really have wanted it to work. And also, about this build, now you might see that I'm kind of trying to make a sort of box in the back, like detached from the main building. and that's actually a community pool. So in here, in this apartment building, in this apartment complex, we are gonna have a pool. And we have that already, of course, but we are gonna have that in the video a little bit later. You will see. And yeah, also I completely forgot to tell you guys that I'm using here plenty of packs, a lot of packs. I was not limiting myself at all. And of course, not furnished version might use slightly less packs than the furnished one, but that is obviously because in the apartments sometimes you want to place more, sometimes you want to place clutter and stuff like that, and you do not exactly need anything like that in the community areas because I would not leave phone and key somewhere in the community areas, but I would stick something like that in the entryway in the apartment. So that's why furnished version has much more packs than not furnished one. So yep, as you see, this building uses a lot of packs. I think you can see that already because even for the like shorter fences, I'm already using these cottage living beams. I'm already using these high school years ending pieces and stuff, and also LED lights for the exterior lighting are gonna be also all high school years. So you will see that, but yeah, I'm using a lot of packs. But back to the build itself. In here, we are gonna have a community pool, and at first I wanted to make it kind of like formalish looking, but then I thought, like, we have these like tiny stones with like water flowing from them. So, like, not so tiny, they are actually huge, but we have these rocks with the water flowing from them. So, I decided to use them in here because they look beautiful. They look actually absolutely stunning, I think. So, I really wanted to use them because before I did not. So, it's was like a perfect time to make rich looking apartment complex on the exterior but not that expensive on the interior. Of course, some of the apartments out there are on the more expensive side than other ones, but none of them are like all that expensive. And as for the whole exterior back, and you might have noticed that I tried to make some sort of like a flower beds, just removing some concrete from some of the patches and fencing that in. And I was just thinking that as for landscaping, we are not gonna make it like all of these like flowy, like wild looking landscaping because in the apartment complex that wouldn't be so appropriate. So I decided to add just like some flower beds where I decided to place some plain green bushes. And as for the parking lot itself, I have made a mistake when I was making that because I did not check the car length so well from that gym I have built before where we have a parking lot, and that is why a little bit later you will see that I'm gonna have a slight problem that the cars are not fitting. So I will need to make a driveway much skinnier for all of these builds because otherwise the car would not fit, and I do need to make my parking spots a little bit longer. And I will make that. That's not that much of a problem, but I really wanted to have a little bit wider of a driveway. But now I cannot do that because otherwise, the pathway on the side of the parking lot is going to be way too skinny for me because I do not want to have one tile wide pathway. That looks silly, especially for apartment complex. So I'm not doing that. And that is why the driveway is kind of skinny looking. It kind of looks weird, but I'm imagining that, maybe it's for one car only. Like, you cannot drive out of your parking spot when there is another car driving on the driveway because you will not be able to drive next to each other. You will crash, and that's not good, and we not want car crashes in here. Of course, we cannot get car crashes in the Sims because in the Sims we don't have cars, but I kinda was very disappointed about that after the Sims 3 at first, but now when the Sims 4 was out for literally 10 years already, almost, it's gonna be 10 years, like literally in a couple of weeks. I think it was the Sims 4 released in September? I need to check. And yep, it was released on September 2nd. So it's literally like in 3 days from where I'm recording that. Not 3 days, 4 days, because I'm recording this on Thursday, and you're gonna see this videos quite soon because I'm gonna edit it right after I'm recording. So that is why the dates are kind of like close now. And now, actually, as for the fact that the whole LED strip was not as seamless as I would like that to be, I actually tried to fix that, but later I just decided to ignore that because my ways of fixing that were a little bit not too cute, because I was trying to use some of these like debug columns, because on the level of the fourth floor you cannot raise your columns up that high. Like you cannot raise your column only to the top of the fourth floor, and you cannot raise it up a little bit higher. But the game in the same time it allows you to make fences or half walls or platforms on level of the fifth floor, but you cannot raise your columns up there. And that is why I have this silly thing with not being able to raise my columns up to the very top of the platform. So where we have a slight bend out on the top of the building, I cannot raise my columns up there. And I decided to go and try to do that, to like continue the column with some debug pillars, but none of them were matching like seamlessly as I would like them to do. So in the end, I just decided like, okay, anyway, as if anybody is gonna look very close up there. Of course, everybody who's listening to me now, you might look close up there because I've told you that there is a slight issue with that, with me. But I think that anybody else is not gonna look out there. So I decided to just go on and ignore that. And with the LED light, remember I've told you that I've used it a lot? I think you now get that I have used it quite a lot, because even on every single half wall I was using to kind of line up all of the parking spots, some of the pathways, I was using the LED light strips too. A lot, even in the pool. We have them literally everywhere in here. And I don't regret that, because that, as for me, looks much better than a plain dark building without any light, where you have the light only from the windows. That looks much brighter. And actually, now with all of the technology we've got, with all of the LED lights being used in the houses too, like in the apartments on the inside too, we are using much less electricity than we were using like literally maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So we kind of can afford to use all that much electricity, especially, I don't know, in the area where more ecological kinds of producing of electrical energy are used. Like, I'm imagining that in the Sims, they all have just some wind turbines. And who we are to talk about power consumption? Like, we are playing The Sims 4. This game is hard on our hardware. It's using quite a bit of the energy, much more than a light bulb. So in here, LED strip, it is not using all that much, so it's okay. It's ecologically friendly. And if you don't think that it is, place a couple of wind turbines on top of this house. Maybe you can place a couple of solar panels, and that's going to be much more ecologically friendly. So we might think about that too sometimes. I do. I remember when in my school we were studying English, there were a lot of talks about eco-friendly stuff. So I can talk quite a lot about it because I was writing so many essays in my school years. You cannot even imagine. Like literally a lot of them. Every single exam, if there was a topic to choose for your essay, there was usually at least one considering ecologically friendly stuff. So in here, I can talk about it a lot. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because otherwise you will not stand me talking about it a lot. So let us go back to the build. And as I was saying about all of this eco stuff, now we are going to furnish all of the pool area and all of the area attached to that. So this tiny little square detached building, detached from our main apartment building, is actually like a changing room. I'm imagining that. So that's like a changing building, because in there we have four separated bathrooms. In all of these bathrooms, I decided to place like a storage unit, like not a storage unit, but just like a locker. In there, you can use the bathroom, you can wash your hands, brush your teeth, do whatever you need to fix your hygiene or blood need in the Sims. And also I decided to place in there like tiny lockers so that you can store in there your clothes and go swimming. And I'm imagining that maybe it's like a preferable way to go to the pool, but maybe if you live in this apartment complex, you can just go to the pool directly from your apartment. Like you can change in your apartment. And actually, these kind of areas are maybe a little bit useful if you're playing like rags to riches and you're not starting like with zero simoleons or just starting with a minimal amount of simoleons. You can move your sim in one of the smaller apartments and make this apartment absolutely empty and furnish it slowly and thoroughly. Like do it slowly, do it in your own pace. Like, I sometimes like to do that. I remember when I was playing The Sims when I was a teen, I actually liked quite a lot to just have my sim being a teen and just give them a starter home funds, which are given by default, and then move to one of the empty lots somewhere in Windenburg, and there I would build like a castle, or maybe I would build there like a very big house. It was usually ugly because I was not able to build anything but boxes, and in there I would just move my sim into this like huge house, and they would have like 2,000 simoleons for all of the furniture, and for this money I would just buy a fridge and a bed, and that's it, and everything else do however you want to do. And I was usually picking not the cheapest appliances because I don't know, but when I was a child, maybe it was like some sort of like a trauma from previous Sims games where it was much more difficult to take care of your Sims needs, because before it was actually very difficult. If you did not play the Sims game, the original Sims game, you do not understand the struggle of going like to a community lot and not being able to do anything because your Sims needs are kind of low. And then you come back home, your Sims has to go to work, and the time did not pass at all where you were at community lot, and your needs are at the bottom. So, yep, the first Sims game was a struggle. So, I think that maybe my idea of furnishing the houses not with the cheapest appliances is like a trauma from the first Sims games, because it was much more difficult in there to take care of your Sims needs, and you really did need better appliances to do it properly, because otherwise all you would do all day is take care of your Sims needs and nothing else. But in The Sims 4, it's not so harsh. Your Sims needs are kind of going down not so fast, so you really can do quite a lot with your Sims outside of taking care of their needs. So I think that now the Sims game got much easier, but maybe they're just for are now more adjusted for the people with some anxiety, or maybe for kids too, but it's not like kids rated, so it's for the teens. So maybe it is for people with anxiety, or for people who just want to like play and enjoy the gameplay outside of taking care of your Sims needs. Like, some of us are struggling to take care of our own needs, so what am I talking about the Sims needs? Anyway, when I was talking that, we have finished making the pool area, and now we are heading on the inside and starting to furnishing like the whole community area of the house. And of course, we are starting with the hallways, and in the hallways everywhere next to every single one of the apartments doors, I have decided to stick out there a private like mailbox. Like, each apartment has their own one, and I have play tested how the mailboxes were working in The Sims with the apartments, because at first I was a little bit confused how they should work, like which mailbox is going to be assigned as a main one and which are not, but it doesn't work like that. In The Sims, the mailboxes are kind of like synchronized. So if a mailman brings all of the mail into one of the mailboxes, it's going to appear in every single one of them, like everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. So in here, I decided to stick a mailbox next to every single one of the apartments. Also, we have a big mailbox outside of the house, outside of the building. I just decided to replace one of the benches with a mailbox because I thought that it was kind of appropriate. And also on every single floor we have a trash chute. So, yep. And by the way, I need to tell you, in the furnished version, not every single one of the apartments has an inside trash can, and not every single one of them has fire alarm or thermostat. I think two last of them don't have that, but maybe more. I might be mistaken, but I just remember when I was building that, when I was finishing that, when I was uploading this build to the gallery, I remember that I forgot to do something, and that something actually was fire alarms in the kitchen, that also was thermostats, and that also was inside trash can, because yeah, not all of the apartments have indoor trash can. Not all of them actually need them, because some of these apartments are just like studio apartments, and trash cans are just gonna occupy some space inside of the house, and you can just go out the door and throw the trash like in the trash chute, and that's gonna be fine. So that's what I'm thinking now. But I was not thinking about that when I was building that. So that's like me trying to justify my own mistake. Don't mind me to say so. So, okay. As for the community area, also I decided to stick in there some of decor out here, and you might have noticed that our community area is mostly black and white and gold. And I think that that turned out to be actually very beautiful. And I just think that it turned out to be like kind of stylish looking. I don't know what kind of style that is, but I think that that's stylish. So anyway, I think that our community areas, our hallways in this building turned out to be very beautiful. So I hope you're gonna like that too. And as for the art studio on the top, I did not know how I should lay it out because at first I didn't know what I can put out there. But I decided to stick some of these shelves where you can stick up your canvases. Also, I decided to stick some of the sketches around, some of the ready paintings around, and we had 3 easels out there. Also, I decided to like assign a divided gym area in there, which I decided to just cover with some glass doors, with some glass walls. For that, I was using greenhouse kit again because that actually works kind of perfectly for these purposes. And in the gym, we just have like one weightlifting machine and a couple of treadmills, and that's it. Like we don't have a lot in the gym. And as we have a gym up here, I decided to stick out here a bathroom too, because if we would not have a toilet, your Sims would have to walk all the way downstairs to their apartment, and if they live in the first floor, it's not very convenient, and it's much easier to use the bathroom somewhere in the community area because in case it breaks, you do not need to fix that. You can call your landlord, so that's okay. Also, as for the artsy area out there, I decided to make like a divided music area. So as you might have noticed, we are having there a piano, microphone, a couple of guitars, a couple of violins. And as for violins, I decided to stick in there a couple of kids' violins too, because kids can play music too, and that should be fun. And I decided to stick out there a lot of sitting areas, and also we are gonna have like our rooftop kitchen. It's just a tiny one, so we are gonna have there like a pizza oven, and we are also gonna have there a sink, some slight decor like plates and plants, and a couple of sitting areas where you can sit and eat, communicate with your neighbors. At least that's what I'm imagining. Maybe some like tight knit community is living out there, and they all really love to hang out with their neighbors, and that would be like a very good way to live your life with next to your neighbors. So I really like the way this apartment building turned out. And now that I was saying that, I'm starting to go around the whole build and making like furniture placement for that. And this furniture placement is on the unfurnished version, so I'm sorry if I'm using here any of the packs which were not used before in here, but I might have. I know that I could have done that, but if I did, it was not intentional. I was just mindlessly placing like some placeholders so that I know that I can make this apartment functional. And that was kind of important for me because when I was trying to lay out these apartments, I was not sure if that's gonna work or not, but it kind of does. And I was at first worried too if all of these 2 tiles wide balconies are gonna be of any use, but actually you can place a lot of in a 2 tile wide space, so that should be fine too. I hope you will not find any problems with this house because I was trying to play test that, but I've had a lot of problems doing that purely because this build is so big that it's difficult to play test at all. And with the apartments, a little bit later when I'm gonna go like from the placeholder furniture to like real furniture, you will see that I was going to the managed worlds and back to the build again. And that is because my game got so glitchy at this point with this apartment building. Mind that my PC is not that powerful. Like I have higher than minimum requirements, of course, but I don't know. It runs well with the games which were released like maybe a couple or 3 years ago, but it doesn't run so well with the games which are released this year because I need to like lower my graphics settings for that. So my PC is not that powerful. It's not that strong. My game was getting so glitchy with this apartment building that I was starting having some like freezes which were like showing, you're sticking something and it's not showing immediately. Like you need to wait maybe like half a second for it to show. Like it doesn't show immediately as it usually does when you're placing furniture in a house, like in a tiny little house somewhere out there. But it was getting me a little worried by that point. So I decided to go out and I decided to go and furnish apartment like one by one. So I did not go and furnish all of the apartments at once, with the house being a residential house yet. So that's what I decided to do because otherwise I would not be able to furnish all of the apartments. I would be so annoyed with the glitches that I would just say, no, do that yourself. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm so tired of that that I don't want to do that anymore. And now, actually, that I'm going back and starting to furnish the apartments, I think I'm gonna show you like me furnishing one of the apartments, and then I'm gonna go and give you a quick tour right away because I don't think that you need to see me furnishing six apartments, which are kind of like similarly laid out, which use some sort of like a similar style in them. So as for the first apartment, I was trying to go for like bright colors yet because I was in the mood for a bright color. So in here we have a lot of these like teal color, like it's not teal because it's lighter than teal, but this like mint color. I was using a lot of mint color. And for that, I would be using some of the Jungle Adventure counters in the kitchen, upper cabinets of the Jungle Adventure 2. Also, we have some base game fridge and stove in this mint color, so that is perfect. And I used high school years in here. I've used high school years bookshelf too because it matched the high school years bed kind of well. Surprise, surprise! Sims 4 can match some stuff in one pack. Of course, the bookshelf is white, so it matches literally everything, but you get what I mean. We have some problems in this game with stuff matching, so I can complain about that sometimes. And as for this apartment, it is a studio apartment, so in here we didn't have all that much space to place stuff, but I decided that maybe it's gonna be like a perfect space where I can make these like tiny cozy living rooms I like so much, where you literally have a TV like one tile away from your couch, and that is actually easier when you play some games. I don't know, on a gaming console, but in here I did not place anything like that. But I imagine that maybe it's an apartment where a college student lives, or maybe an emancipated teen or somebody like that. I was imagining that out here in this apartment complex, just a gamer maybe lives, or a person who doesn't like guests all that much. They just like to hang out in here all by themselves. So in here we are gonna have a tiny little kitchen. In here we are having a tiny little dining area with two chairs. Our living area fits only three sims, and our sleeping area fits two sims if your sims could, one sim if they don't. And as for the whole bathroom area, the bathrooms in this build are actually kind of decent because they are all 4x2 tiles with optional bump outs, which I assigned for the apartments too, but in not in every single one of the apartments I was using them. And in the bathroom, we are just gonna have a toilet, a sink, and a tub. And if you don't like me choosing a tub, you can just place the toilet outside of that tiny little room that I assigned for that, or in that room exactly inside of that room, you can stick a shower too. That should be fine, I guess. And in all of these apartments, I was trying to go with a little bit more of like, I don't know, a little Simpsons way because when I was watching her videos, I kind of noticed that she doesn't color the walls till the very last moment. And I've tried to do the same. And I might say that this way actually has some pros too, because when you do it like that, it's a little bit easier for you to pick the color for the walls because you kind of can go off the whole look of the build itself. But for me, there was a slight problem because I could not pick the furniture without having the floorings because the floorings kind of tied all in together, and I was so confused for the moment that I was not able to make it properly at first. But then I kind of figured it out, and that was like a convenient way in the end. Like it is nice, it is convenient to do it this way, but I doubt that I'm gonna do that all the time. Maybe sometimes because it is a good way to try and use some new wallpapers you've never used before. And I tend to use all the same ones, just plain colored walls everywhere. and the same wooden flooring everywhere too. So now I think that as my video when I'm recording this is going to the second apartment, and as we kind of have finished furnishing the first one, I think I'm gonna go to the build itself, back to the game, and show you what I have ended up with. So here is the build itself in its finest state. I kindly love the way it turned out to look at night because all of these architectural lighting and all of these like panels lighting up, all of these signs lighting up. It kind of looks cute for me. And we have signs on every single side of the building, so everybody knows. Somebody's swimming in the pond, they know. Somebody's visiting this area, they know. Somebody's just driving by, they know too. And somebody who's going to be in the park, which is not here yet, they will know too. We have a sign out here. So that is our build now. And as for the exterior, you see that I was going kind of for a modern look. So we have some of these like just plain blocky looking building, and we have these like brick pillars in here again, the same ones we used to have in this building, and I was using the same bricks as these buildings. So we have this like gray brick, this red brick, and as for this part, I was kind of trying to make a distinct separation from the outside of the balcony and the build itself. I think it turned out kind of nicely. And for these parts where we do not have windows, I decided just to cover them with some green so that they look cute. And as for this side is kind of plain, but from these balconies you still have nice views up here to this tiny playground, so that looks nice too. And this is our skinny driveway, which leads actually to the pool area. So I'm imagining that maybe this pool is like attached community area, but of course it's not. In The Sims we cannot do stuff like that. But in my head it might be like that. So that is our building area. Here we have a community mailbox. Also in here we have some dumpsters, so your Sims can woohoo out there. That should be fun for them. And as for the inside, I think I should probably start with our pool area. And the pool area is kind of hallway-ish, so you can literally enter in here and go straight across and enter the pool area. And in here you also have several bathrooms. We have just lockers, sinks, we have toilet, we have showers, so you can take care of your hygiene. And it's like in the hot springs. You need to wash yourself before you go to the pool. So when you go downstairs, down here, down the stairs actually, yeah, in here we have some sitting areas, some pool rules, I know, some extra towels which you can grab and use. We have a sitting area with a trash can. You can drink in here because we have a bar too. And also I decided to place this drink tray too in here, and you can swim. And by the way, I did not place a ladder for the pool, but that's optional in The Sims 4. And we have just nice sitting areas in here, and one of these tiny tables have left empty so that you can stick in there whatever, or your team can stick their food, drinks for them, so that's a little bit more convenient for them. And around the house, we have the same benches we have in the pool, but in the light colors, and it's just like sitting areas out here, like you would have somewhere in common area where everybody can walk. And as you go through here, in here we have quite simple looking entryway where we just have several lights, some LED lighting around here, and through this front door you can access our hallway. The hallway is kind of simple. It looks silly, I know, but in this hallway, we just have some marble floorings, we have some decor, some paintings, we have trash chutes, and also we have mailboxes next to every single one of the apartments. And I think I'm gonna start with this apartment, this studio apartment. So this apartment is mostly like yellow and orange, and it's not the only one. I think that I was just in the mood for yellow and orange and some light wood. In here we have a tiny kitchen, also in here we have a dining area, and in here we have our kind of like conversation spot living room. And yeah, you enter to the back of the couch, but I think that's okay. Like, enter right into the living room. That should be fine. And in here we have this thingy from the tiny living, which is TV, bookshelf, and stereo, which kind of is useful in The Sims. And from here you can access this bedroom area, and through this hallway where we have another bookshelf, we have a bathroom. Bathroom is kind of bright out here. We just have a shower tub combo in here, a sink and a toilet, and you will not have these apartments if you're downloading the not furnished version, but in the furnished version we have that. And also on the balcony, on the single one balcony which we have out here, we have a grill and a tiny little dining area. In the apartment on the opposite side, we only have black and white colors, and I was just trying to make like sunny, like sunflowers and grass apartment and strict designer apartment. I was imagining that. So in here we have just some random bright decors, which are just some paintings. We have a lot of plants. We have these plants room dividers and bookshelves. Another thing from China Living, which is very useful in here. We have our living room in here. We also have our black dining room, and this apartment has a view to the pool, actually to the brick wall where the pool is gonna be. And all of the apartments have the view to the area where the park is gonna be, so they are gonna have the view to the park. I think that should be nice. And also in here we have a complete dream home decorator kitchen. Also we have this office nook, and in here we have black and white toilets, and in here we are using quite expensive appliances, quite expensive computers, expensive bed, and also I decided to use here this new Lovestruck shower just because I like that. And as for the outside, I was trying to make it kind of cozy, but it turned out to be kind of random. So in here we have some greens, in here we have a couple of eggshells, egg-shaped living chairs, and water fountain, but I think that that's still kind of cute. And through this hallway also we can access the bedroom, and the bedroom is kind of simple too, and we have our random gnome out here. I just like her, so that's why I decided to add her out here. And now let us go back. So that's the second apartment. As we go upstairs, here we have some more decor in the common area, some more trash chutes, some more of these mailboxes, and now let us go to the trash apartment we've gotten here. I like doing stuff like that. So we have in here another apartment, which is another studio apartment, and this one is a little bit smaller than the one downstairs, but is that a bad thing? I doubt that. So in here we have this kitchen nook with the rustic furniture from the city living. Also in here we have this oldish looking dining area, and yep, I was using a lot of basement kit in here. So we have this couch out here, this table, this box, this, I don't know if it works, TV, this werewolves bookshelf, so that it looks a little bit rustic too, like not finished one. We have these beds from the Lovestruck pack, which I actually liked for the area like that. Like, I don't know, maybe some kind of girl moved in here after the bed breakup and she just bought all of the stuff somewhere like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, where people just sell all of their used stuff and something like that. Of course, they don't have Facebook Marketplace in my country, but that doesn't matter. And she just tried to do something to cover all of these patches on the walls, but it did not work all that well. And as for the bathroom, yep, cheaper stuff itself. Strange Viral Bathtub. Who ordered that? Not me, but we have that. But maybe this girl just likes some of the gardening. That's why she has a flower arranging table. That's why she has a couple of planters. She has mites, just because I thought that it's funny. So we have them in here. And now let us go to the weirdest of the apartments. So it's weird because it's weirdly shaped. In here we have, like right away from the entryway, a dining room. I doubt that this area is accessible, but it looks pretty. It looks pretty, so that's why we have it. We have a walk-through kitchen. It's completely blue, by the way. All of the apartment, you might see that this one is like yellow and pink, and this one is blue. In this kitchen, we have an island. We have just like kitchen set, and the dining area is here, or you can go outside and eat here. We have a fancier grill in here, some plants around so that it's some decor, it looks cute, and a room divider so that this area is filled but not too busy. And from here we can access the bathroom. The bathroom in here is on the more expensive side. It's kind of like Japanese style, so we have like a divided area for the toilet, divided area for the shower, and an open space where the sink is. Of course, you can stick somewhere out here a bathtub and maybe stick a sink somewhere else, but I decided to do it this way. And as you go from here, we have an office nook out here, and to the right we have the most boring living room I've ever made. So in here we just have a couch, a rug, a fireplace, and a TV, and a bookshelf. But that looks cute. I like this bookshelf. And from here we can exit the bedroom. In the bedroom we are using blues again, and this bedroom is gonna have the best view towards this park as well as this living room. So I'm kind of satisfied with that. We have a couple of poofs out here, which are actually tables, which I don't like. We have a closet in here. Also, we have in here a mirror, a plant, just the usual stuff. And on the outside in here, we have a fabrication table. We also in here have a fireplace. And in here, we have a bench and a stereo. So you can sit in here, listen to the music, enjoy the fire, and fabricate stuff. And by the way, I forgot about this balcony, but in here we have a grill and a chess table and a bonsai tree. So maybe this girl really does like some gardening. And now let us go even upper stairs. And yep, it's bright, I know. But in here we have just the same hallways to everywhere else, but some slightly less decor because this hallway is a little bit more tight squeezed than all other ones were. And this apartment you have seen me furnishing. In here we have like a minty apartment. So in here we have some of these archaeology table. Also in here we have this tiny little poof where you can meditate, where you can get some wellness skill. And in here we have the tiniest little living room I've ever had. And also in here we have this tiny little kitchen. Your Sims can cook out there, don't worry about that. And they are gonna stick some plates out here, so don't worry about it. And up here too. So if you don't know where the smell is, it's up here. And in here we have this tiny desk. We have the toilet where we have a tub, toilet, and a sink. And up on this balcony we just have a bar, a tiny lounge chair, I'm imagining it is, but it's just a living chair, and a chess table. Yes, we have a lot of them in here. And this is actually my favorite apartment. It's the brightest one, and I really like the way it turned out. In here we have the most boring nook because in here I was using Dream Home Decorator, and it's not like as bright and colorful and as all else of this apartment, but it's like an office area for me. But we have a lot of fun clutter out here, like cats, llama, some of these mushrooms for wearables, so I still like that. In here we have this, like, I don't know, I was kind of going for mid-century kind of style in here, but I doubt that I've managed to execute it well. But then here we have this yellow and orange living room with the TV, with a lot of plants around. In here we have a duck, I did not forget about that in this build. And this is our like dining area. It's very small, but we don't need all that much space because it's only one bedroom apartment, and we have much nicer living area in here. And in here we have very bright orange kitchen, and I really like the way this kitchen turned out because we even have matching Dream Home Decorator kitchen appliances, which are these divided ones. And I decided to use this like vintage coffee maker and this kind of vintage looking fridge too. And I think that it looks kind of cool. And if, in here we have a stereo, so you can listen to the music while you're eating and cooking. And also in here we have some of these shelves, and up this hallway we have our bedroom. In the bedroom I was going for the same style, so we have a lot of lights, we have this like very warm wood on the floor, a lot of orange curtains. I think that that looks pretty. And we have this fun rock in here, which I did not know that this rock looks like that because the default swatch is zebra, and I'm not using zebra. No, 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 thanks you. Thanks to you. So up here we have this tiny little pouch and a little sofa, and up if we go down this hallway, in here we have this shelf which kind of signs toilet this way because we have some paper towels, or is it toilet paper? I don't know. I'm not sure. But in here we just have a sink, we have a toilet, and we have built-in shower tap combo. And I really like doing it like that because if you place it in a little half wall like that, your Sims still can use the shower tap combo, and I like doing that a lot. And in here we have a plant too, so it looks right and bright and orange, and I really like that. And up on this balcony we have a gardening spot with a couple of gnomes, with some planters, and the flower arranging table. And up on this balcony we just have a bar, a tiny lounge table. We have here another fireplace, a couple of these chairs, which are like living chairs. And in here we have this Blick Block PlayStation. I'm imagining it is, but it's motion monitor or gaming mat. But it's, for me, it's Blick Block playing station because they are playing Blue Block in here a lot. So that's it for the apartments. And now let's go upstairs to the community area. In here, yep, we yet again have mostly black and white. And you've seen me furnishing that. This is our art studio. So in here we have several easels. And here we have some of these canvases stacked, some of the ready paintings, a bed too, so that artists can defend themselves from the bullies. And in here we have our music area where we have just some violins, guitars, piano, and microphone. So your Sims can sing, they can play the instrument, they can gain their skills. And from here they can access these tiny little, the tiniest actually gym I've ever made. But it's a gym. In here we have a couple of sitting areas, some gym equipment, so that's it. And also up here we have a couple of chess tables, so your Sims can get their logic skill up. That can be useful sometimes too. And up here we have another bathroom, which I'm imagining just is lockable on the inside. I know that it's not like really the type of bathroom you would like to see in a community area in the house, but we have it here. And from up here we can access our rooftop kitchen where we have just a pizza oven, a sink so that you do not need to go really far to wash your dishes, and just some decor and sitting areas so you can sit and eat some pizza, and that should be nice. Unless I did not stick a fridge out here. Anyway, out on this side, we also have our rooftop garden, which I did not decorate all too much because I still wanted my whole build to look pretty on the front. So we have on the low side decor up here, a couple of gnomes, some buckets, and this, I don't know, maybe just some sort of like a garden event. Here, maybe we're planning, I don't know, a competition whose crops are better. And in here, we have some vertical planters too, and that's it. So this house is on my gallery. My gallery name is gloverunt, just like my YouTube name, and it's called Rippling Flats. Of course, I'm gonna stick all of the info for these builds in down in the description so that you can find it easier. And I think, needless to say, that I was using a lot of packs, quite a lot of packs, and I'm sorry. But anyway, what's done is done. If you do not have the packs, I don't actually recommend you to download it, and especially if you don't have eco lifestyle, growing together, get together, dine out, and that's must be it because that's mostly what I was using for the exterior. Because on the interior, it's much easier to change, I was always thinking, than on the exterior. And by the way, if you want all of these lights, you need high school years. And if you don't have high school years, I'm sorry, because you will not have these lights. So that's, I think, must be it. So thank you for watching. And if you like videos like that, you might subscribe to my channel. And as I'm switching these builds to the night because I really like the way it lights up at night, I think I'm gonna tell you goodbye. So bye, guys.